So today we're going to learn the difference between a goal and a why and the framework to find yours and how your why acts as a magnet for partners and help. I mean, the more dialed in you can get here, the better. So I really think I have to look at this as like people can see through things. If you're just after money or trying to get the best deal or take advantage of them versus your meaning or what you want to do, I think people see through that. So being authentic is super important. So there's almost an illusion in real estate. Let's discuss how people are addicted to the numbers or number of units or cash flow per month. And I hear this all the time. And I don't understand this. I'm obviously, when someone says, I want 100 properties, I say, okay. Or I want 20,000 a month in cash flow. But that's not a clear plan or a path. Now, it is a business metric, so I don't want to misconstrue it. It is a metric for business activity, but it's not a clear why. And if that's your goal is to have 100 properties, it's a great goal for a metric, but it's not your why you want to have a property. You know, to me, money is a tool. It's not an identity. So what are you doing with that 20,000 a month that you make? Are you just putting it back in the business? Are you paying taxes? I mean, it doesn't let people know what you're doing or want to do with it or how you want to pour back into other people with that money. So let's talk about the concept. You make money in real estate, but your why is what you do with it. I think most people get this, but I want to bring it up. You know, buying back your time, for example. I think funding a charity. Maybe you want to give back to a church. One of my goals is live off 10% and give 90% away. You want to have generational security for your family. So real estate is a vehicle to get you to your destination or your why. Does that make sense? I want to make sure we're on the same page here. Good. So why the why matters in a down market. So if we're up market, down market, why it matters. When a good deal goes sideways or a tenant trashes a unit, the math won't keep you going. It's just not going to motivate you. So only your why provides the resilience to push through the dip. So I remember the days when I had a W-2 job and I would clock out and then I would just leave for the day. I was done. So also mentally but physically. So I'm not thinking about my work at all till I clocked in the next day. Yet when you run your own business in real estate, you have to think about it. You're not just clocking in and clocking out and you're done for the day. You may be thinking about it. You may be looking, and as you're investing, looking at rents coming in. Maybe which units need turned or remodeled, which units are vacant and need, leased up, showings you have, evenings and weekends, that kind of thing. So which units need capital improvement, how to budget for these things. So you're thinking about these things. You don't just turn it off. If a tenant skips out on rent and trashes your unit, there's huge cost. And it will be important to remember your why of what you do and why you do it, to provide for your family, to have a retirement coming in. It's going to be super important. So I want to kind of give the backstory why the important. I think we kind of grasp that. I feel like we grasp it. So kind of as we get into this segment and kind of get towards the end of what we're shooting for, the why, is there's a framework here I want to develop. And I think it's cool to really look at this, and it becomes very powerful. Others can help you. This is an exercise I love to do, and I really thought about it. I want to share this with you because it really helped me. And it's called the 7 levels deep exercise. So let me quickly explain the technique. It's pretty easy, but you'll get it. It'll be good to kind of give you some homework here. So ask yourself what you want. For example, I want 10,000 a month. Well, when somebody says that, I just right away ask them, well, why? It sounds like a 3-year-old, and you know what I'm talking about. They ask why all the time. So you ask why 7 times. Why do you want that 10,000 a month? So the first one is why. Quit my job. Okay. Why do you want to quit your job? To spend time with my kids. Okay. Why do you want to do that? Because I didn't see my father growing up. Okay. Why is that important to you? I want to take them to school. I want to make pancakes. Okay. Why is that important? It gets redundant a little bit, but to be in their lives and not just be someone and be there sometimes. Okay, why would you want to do that? To have time with them is more important than working a job. Okay, and the last one, why is that finally important to you? I want to be the dad I never had and can count on. Now that hits me pretty hard, visceral. I worked pretty hard in my younger days with my kids, and I realized, hey, it's not working out. I need to figure out. A why is to be in my kids' lives. So I think that's really important. So that'll help you, this exercise. And then you have that, really look at that why that gets to the core of the issue. And I'll kind of go back over it again. We recap. Ask yourself why 7 times, the 7 levels deep. I'm repeating myself because I think it's really important. And hopefully you would agree that when you can get to the core of an issue, you really gets visceral. You know that my dad wasn't around, I want to be a dad that's around. And also, maybe the anti-goal. So maybe it's easier to say what you don't want. I find a lot of people tell me what they don't want versus what they do want. Sometimes it's easier to find that, and you never want to experience it again. So let's give you an example. You don't want to be in a spot, if you've ever been there, I've been here, able to pay for medical emergency, or being stuck in a cubicle. So your why is often the opposite of your greatest fear.